Rick, can you talk about, I guess, the effort of your team, but also of LSU playing without Waters, and did that change anything for y'all?
No, in some ways you can say it's even tougher because you've already talked about your game plan, what you want to do, and then knowing it. I've seen situations where teams can even play better when you lose a guy. It happened to us one year at Providence where we lost a guy that was averaging 24 points a game. We ended up beating a ranked team when we shouldn't have, and I think on one game you can probably do something like that, but I hate it for him. Jordan Bone's been same thing. He's been sick a little bit, but he tried to work through it today as much as he could, and great atmosphere. I thought both teams played hard, and I like to see our team do a better job at the end of the game with execution, what we needed to see. We had too many plays where you gave him baskets, Grant falling out of bounds where he should eat it as opposed to throwing it back in and let him go get a layup. Jordan Bone fouls, intentional foul, those plays. Those are tough plays. But we made a push early. They made their push at the end, and it was really a one-possession game. And we should have got a better look that last time down the floor. And we didn't. In that situation, you certainly want to have the last shot of the game, and we didn't do that.
Rick, just following up on that, what did you see at the last few seconds in the foul on Grant?
Well, I think we have a really bad rule in college basketball where coaches can't call timeouts in that situation because the players are so locked into trying to play, and they shouldn't have to come down. As much as you talk about it, they shouldn't have to come down the floor looking at me and seeing if I want a timeout, which we talked about having a timeout. And coaches should be allowed to call a timeout. I mean, that's what we get paid to do, to coach our team, and I don't believe we should get when there's a scrum on the floor, obviously we shouldn't be allowed to call a timeout. But that's a perfect situation where you want your players to come down the floor ready to play. And if we see something we don't like, we should be the ones to call timeout. We had on what we wanted to do there, but Lamonte just, I think from the time he got the ball, I think he had made up his mind he was going to stop and pull up and shoot it, which really is not a good decision. But at that point in time, he's not thinking about looking at me. He's worried about protecting the ball. Everybody's looking and thinking, where should we be going? But and then Grant obviously just trying to make a play to rebound, and I guess they collided. I didn't really see it, but I guess that's what happened.
Rick back here in the corner. Just the improvements that LSU has made over the last couple of years. Have you seen that from afar?
Well, they're a very talented team. I mean, they have terrific talent on the floor, and some experience, obviously, and but they have our entire league has improved. I mean, you go back from start to finish from where I was sitting 4 years ago. This entire league has improved, and so I think every coach in this league knows that we've got to continue to improve too.
Hey, Coach, back here in the back, I saw you share a moment with Will Wade after the game. It looked like y'all had a nice embrace. What was your message to him?
No, I didn't want him to think I was disrespecting him when I walked out to the middle of the court and it happened and everybody came on the floor real quick, and I just simply told him, hey, good job, and he's done a good job of this program.
Rick, following up on what you said just a moment ago, the conference, you could have three teams tied for first with 4 games to go. What everybody thought about the league this year seems to come to pass. I mean, are you surprised at all that it's this tight?
No, I'm not. I'm not, because it's really, the league has grown so well, and again, terrific coaches in the league and players. I mean, you think about it, 2 teams that have really struggled. Obviously, Vanderbilt by losing Darius Garland, which arguably people felt he was a preseason player of the year, and then Missouri losing a terrific player. But otherwise, I mean, even those games are tough games. People might think they're easy, but they're not. And those guys, those are the coaches that do an unbelievable job every year. And people think because they're not winning, they're not doing a great job. And arguably, they're doing the best job, keeping their teams playing hard and being locked in. But I said when I first came into this league, on a bad year, we should get 6 teams every year, because that wasn't always the case. And on a good year, we should be talking about 8, 9 teams that we have in postseason play, and I still believe that. And I do think that we have, arguably, our conference is, if it's not the best, there's not one more better than us. I just know that this league is terrific.
Coach, on your left, over here.
Okay.
You guys are up 9 with a little over 6 minutes left. Are you surprised, disappointed that, with that much maturity on the floor, you can't close it out on the road?
Well, again, we got beat off the dribble, and when we messed up a few ball screen coverages where we didn't execute there, and but again, they're going to make a run. I mean, I don't think there's any question. Yeah, would we do that? But I also think that through that stretch where you can't close the game out, I think that's where Grant had a charge foul. You can't turn the ball over, and you can't not have good shots at that point in time in the game. And then on the other end, you can't let guys just get the ball all the way to the rim. You can't allow that. So give them credit for getting it to the rim. And again, we have to look at ourselves and know that you can't turn it over at that point in time.
Coach, to your right, how much were you taken aback by Javante's play? I mean, he hasn't been in that role basically all season, kind of assumed the role of Tremont Waters.
No, we weren't, because we told our team, I mean, that we thought that we never thought they were a one-man team coming in, and we had a great scout report on him too, and we thought that was very important coming in, regardless of who it was, that they had guards with the ability to be off the dribble, and so I don't think we're surprised. Like I said, we expected him to have a great game, because I mean it's probably a role he's been wanting to play himself anyway, and but. Again, it was a hard-fought basketball game. They came out on top, and again, we all have 4 games left to go, and we got to see what we can do with them.
How do you take this loss and use it to benefit
Well,
y'all as you go towards the postseason?
Again, I think we got to understand from those situations how we've got to be able to. Again, I would expect we're going to be in close games from here on out, and the way we execute coming down the stretch, not turning the ball over, staying within ourselves and what we need to do, and then. We've got to guard the ball. There's no question about that. You've got to be able to stay in front of the basketball and not let people get to the rim. And we got to get to the free throw line more than we did tonight, and we should have, but we didn't.